Welcome in. Let us begin. Now, this is one of the many things that I do from time to time. And on this particular Sunday, September 22nd, I'm going to share a word with you that I hope can be of use to you. And the title of this word is going to be Ironic Exits. Ironic Exits. And basically, you have entry or entrances, but you also have exits. Now, this is something that has been part of me. And when it first took place, my spirit said, "Hey, you got to talk about it and listen to the spirit." But in me not immediately listening, I did listen, but I didn't act. Now, in me not acting, I listened, and there was a reminder routinely as I passed through this area where I'm going to talk about today. So over a year ago, I had a situation where my vehicle broke down, engine cut out. Now, this wasn't anything that just randomly happened. It was one of those things that happened with time because the vehicle was very old. It actually was a 2000 Toyota Solara with well over 200,000 miles. I think it actually has like 286,000 miles on it. But me being me, I'm, you know, I I'm able to do things in a manner that is in sync with the gifts that God has blessed me. Some people may not be able to do it the way I do it, but I'm able to do it. So, in with this, I had this particular vehicle, and I got it from a brother, which I know he takes good care of his vehicles. And I took on the vehicle, and I said, "Hey, I'm gonna ride it until I can't ride it anymore," because I knew it was something about my situation that I had to have some discipline about in order to make sure that I get where I need to be, make sure that I'm doing what I need to do, and make sure I'm being true to who I am and what I have to do for those around me. Now, in riding along, I had to go in. I can't recall exactly what I was going because, like I said, it's been over a year. But I was driving. I went up to Birmingham. I think I had to go meet my mom at maybe like the Saginaw Alabaster exit or something like that to drop off or pick up something. But I normally routinely move from Prattville to Birmingham to do what I need to do because I'm originally from Birmingham. I live in Prattville. Now, on this particular occasion, I'm being committed and I'm carrying out my duties to do what I have to do. And sometimes we know it can get rough to stay on the path and stay on course and stay on track, but we have to stay committed to it because from where I had from where I came in the past, as far as we were living and the situation we were in and my financial situation and my work situation, it was really it was tough. It was pretty rough because I was living in Alex City, Alabama, driving to Columbus, Georgia, which was a little over an hour and a half, I believe, every day that I was having to drive there. And I did that for about 3 years. And of course, we have a time zone change. So that means I had to get up an hour earlier than I would if I was going to somewhere in the same time zone. And I would have to do what I have to do, my teaching duties. And it wasn't like I'm just going to, oh, just, the top tier. I'm going to one of the at-risk schools that needed people that were willing to come and spend the time with these children and do their job, you know. But from there, I was able to level up and get a position with the Air Force, with the university in Montgomery. So from there, I was still driving from Alex City to Montgomery, but then I was able to get my credit correct, and with my new income and situation, I was able to find a house that I could afford in Prattville. And I was able to put my children in a better situation to where they could attend the school that, uh, could meet their needs. Of course, we would always want our kids to go to the best of the best, but we have to make sure we, if nothing else, get them in a better situation. And if, as far as it goes, we accomplished that. So that's just a little background context to it. But with this particular situation, I'm driving along, and I know that I'm having some issues with the vehicle that I can deal with, but I'm not really just at a point where I can put that car down and have it in the shop for however long to get this done. But I can, whatever I can do with my hands, I would do. But in this case, this was something I could not get to. I know it was a knock sensor that was inside the engine that I had to tend to, but I had to find a way to get another vehicle to use while that one was down, because we couldn't just go down to one vehicle. But anyway, enough about that. This situation, I'm driving along and I end up realizing something ain't right. And as I'm going, I said, well, I got about 45 minutes to ride to get home. So I'm gonna get as close as I can and seek help. So as I'm driving along, I of course didn't want to be in an area where it was nothing, or it was a shallow shoulder I couldn't get off, and I'm kind of not clear of the traffic that is on the interstate. But I was able to drive to a particular exit that is actually exit 212, that will exit onto Highway 145 in a place called Clanton onto Laydown Road. Now, for me, being a English major, have an English degree, I have a degree in English, I see things, I communicate, I read things, and I see the power of words and communications and situations, and just see that sometimes things are telling you something that you may not recognize immediately, just on the surface. Sometimes you have to read between the lines. You have that connotation and denotation of things. And in this situation, it was very ironic that I was able to get to this exit and I was able to park where I parked in order for the tow truck to get to me. Now, before I go further, I'm going to show you some pictures of where I actually ended up. Now, I'm taking you kind of down a long path, but we going somewhere. So I just want you to roll with me. Just ride with me. Now I know I said it's gonna have a message in here that relates to the Bible, because it is there. The word is present. God is present. God is alive, living well, thriving. It's there. But sometimes we fail to realize actually how powerful the presence is. So I'm going to show you exactly where I was. All right. So right here, we have Clanton lay down. I don't know where my particular view is, but see if I can get out the way for just a moment. I just want you to see that we are at Clanton lay down, exit 212, that will exit on to Highway 145. I'm gonna give you the lay of the land. We have a Nissan Toyota dealership over here to the left. And if you were exiting off going, this is southbound, because this is when I was able to take these pictures as I passed through here over a year later. But each time I passed through there, I would always think about, wow, why was I able to, or how was I able to get to this point to get rescued, get a tow truck? We got another car dealership on the opposite, on the southbound side. The Nissan dealership is on the northbound side, and this car dealership is on the southbound side. All right. I got off and I got right back on. Well, as I'm passing by, it's a Toyota. I mean, it's a Texaco. It's a Subway up there, and it's also this Peach. So that's like a primary landmark in Clanton. Now, because I got off and I got back on to take these pictures so I can give a more descriptive explanation of what I experienced. So right here, where the merge lane entering the highway and interstate passes, I was able to park my vehicle right in this segment of the shoulder, right there. Right, I was able to park right there. Let me go back. Exit 212. When the tow truck driver came, he was able to get off, come across, come right down to me, back in, hook me up, get me on the flatbed, and we were headed home. All right. And if you're still with me, you may be wondering, why am I telling you this? I'm giving you the context. I'm just giving you the context. Now, I'm also going to give you a vocabulary lesson. I told you I'm an English major, and I got to take you there. Before we get there, exit, ironic exits. We know that we have a book in the Bible called Exodus. The book in the Bible of Exodus is a story of the Israelites leaving slavery in Egypt and their journey to Mount Sinai. And there's a lot of things that take place in that particular book. All right. Now, in me going through thinking about this term exit. Let's think about exit. Think about the numbers that were on that exit. Think about the words on that exit. We're going to talk about those briefly. But these are three verses from the Bible that deal with exit. The way before them was like the appearance of the way of the rooms which were toward the north, according to their length, so was their breadth. And all their exits were both according to the fashions and according to their doors. Another one, if they be ashamed of all they have done, make known to them the form of the house and its fashion and its exits and its interests of all forms, and all its ordinances and all its forms and all its laws, and write it in their sight that they may keep the whole form of it and all its ordinances. All right. Ezekiel 48:30. These are the exits of the city on the north side, 4,500 reeds by measure. For this day of confusion, trending down. Yeah, so exits. Just give me a little context about when exit is also mentioned in the Bible, in addition to the book of Exodus. Now, who appeared in glory, and we're speaking of his departure from the earthly life, his exit. He was about to bring the fulfillment to Jerusalem. That's Luke 9:31. Right? And in Ezekiel 44:5, mark well the entrance of the house with every exit of the sanctuary. All right. Now, Exodus 12:13 through 28. They talk about making sure that you mark the doors. When they see the blood, they will pass over and will not harm you when they punish the Egyptians. All right, so exit. It's just a little background on exit. Hopefully, I'm not rambling, but just stick with me. Now, next, this particular moment was just powerful for me because, like I said, it was very ironic to me. Let's look at a few terms. Look at a few terms and ponder how this parallels with what I'm trying to share with. All right, now exits, ironic exits. So here we are. I told you the text title was ironic exits. Let's look at the term irony for a moment. The state of affairs or an event that seems deliberately contrary to what one expects and is often amusing as a result. And that's powerful for me because in that situation, I did not know that it would play out in the manner in which it did. And it actually did have a level of amusement in its result because I felt like, man, this is pretty bad, but I did have a sense of calmness. And I'm going to tell you why, because I feel like everything aligns properly with what I'm going with. So looking at the word ironic, happening in the opposite way to what is expected and typically causing Ryan amusement because of this. I was thinking, man, this finna be bad. I don't know how far I can make it. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get out of traffic. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to uh, have a phone signal or something like that. But it was just one of those things where it just was like, wow, what is really going on? Now, in that term, you know that Google always gives you a sentence or a definition. The dictionary always gives you a sentence. I often find it ironic that despite the wonders of being alive, we refuse to be happy. I just wanted to throw that in there because the way it's played out, I could have been very upset and mad or sad about it, but I had a level of calmness and happiness that it worked out the way it actually did. Now, I said I was at Clanton, lay down exit 212, Highway 145. All right. Now, let's look at this word lay in the verb context. Put down, especially gently or carefully. That's the first definition. Put down and set in position for use. That's the second definition for the verb context. Now, when that vehicle stopped, I really feel it in my heart of hearts, in my mind, in my spirit, to my core, that God put me down gently and carefully right there at Clanton, lay down exit 212. He put me down and set me in position for use. And he's using me just like he will use you. And this particular message is just for that. Your use, your consumption, and your application to your life. Now let's look at lay in the context of the part of speech of a noun. The general appearance of an area, including the direction of streams, hills, and similar features, the lay of the surrounding countryside, the lay of the land. Now, as I'm driving along and I'm moving and I'm going, I'm trying to figure out how long can I last. I'm trying to pay attention to the gauges. My mind's just in a number of places. I could have been in a segment where I just was unaware of the mile marker and I wouldn't have been able to communicate exactly where I was. And then let's say if I was in that section where I just had kind of iffy cell coverage, I wouldn't have been able to tell where I was. However, I was actually put down in a gentle, careful location where we have a Nissan dealership on the northbound side, another auto dealership on the southbound side, right at an exit 212, Clanton, lay down. I can provide so much information that was possible that the person who was coming to get me, the person that God was going to dispatch to rescue me, was going to be able to know exactly where I was. And when I called that tow truck driver, he knew exactly where I was. Now I was able to give a description of the lay of the land. I wish I had an audience with me because that's a moment to say amen. Lay down, exit 212. Now, look at the term down. Look at that term down. It's a noun, and it also can be, it's a noun. Yeah. It can also be used as a verb. So, looking at it as a noun, I underlined certain sections of this definition because I just felt like it was so powerful for me. Down. Now, a barrier constructed to hold back water and raise its level, forming a reservoir used to generate electricity or as a water supply. And I underline a barrier constructed to hold back. In that instance, I believe that God put a barrier around my situation to hold back any additional threats because we know we're going to have problems, issues, situations, occurrences that are beyond our control or beyond our understanding. but he was able to construct a barrier that put me right where I needed to be to get the attention that I needed, and ultimately put me in a position to level up because we see it's a barrier constructed to hold back water and raise its level. From now, I'm thinking, man, this could get bad, but it actually worked out before it was a time for me to, okay, I don't have that vehicle. Now I'm able to get a new vehicle. And I actually ended up getting a vehicle that I had been thinking about getting for quite some time. And I was able to afford exactly what I set out to purchase. Forming a reservoir, formed a reserve to generate. So there was a moment for me to generate just I don't know, it would generate my focus, my attention, my passion, my dedication to my situation and continue to supply the needs of those around me. And also a reminder that God will supply. God will supply. Now, another definition, well, let's look at the term that apply to that. A barrier, a wall, a blockage. So I feel like we put a barrier up to put me right where I need to be in that situation. Build a dam across. Now, once again, we had laid dam exit in Clanton. The term Clanton is an Alabama town that was named after a railroad station. Now, looking at that word Clanton, at first I was going to leave it out, but I felt like there may be a message in that could apply to this. So let's look a little further. The name Clanton is likely a variant of Clandon, a name that originated in the Dorset and Surrey. It comes from an old English term, plain, which means clean or clear of weeds, and done, which means heal. Now, I don't know about you, but for what I got from that was that we're going to have mountains to climb, have uphill battles, we're going to have struggles. But one thing about it is God will clear the way. And once again, I said I was not even going to necessarily look at that term when as I've been thinking about this, as I often reminded of that when I passed through that. But today I decided to look at that. So clean the path up the hill through whatever struggle you may be dealing with. God will do that. And lastly, I don't know if it's lastly, but yeah, let's just go ahead and get ready to close it out. It was exit 212. And if you know, like I know, I'm a sports fan. I'm a basketball player, coach, official. But one thing about it is 212. How ironic is that I'm actually at 212? And if you know anything about basketball, you know that 212 is a zone. It's a zone defense when you're playing basketball. But the thing about it is, God put me in a safe zone. And God will put you in a safe zone. You just have to be committed. You have to be deliberate. You have to be intentional. You have to spend time with them. Because when I got there, I just didn't know exactly how it would play out. But once the tow truck driver got there, he said, "Man, it is good that you stop right where you stop. Because if you didn't stop here, you would have had to drive all the way down to Jemison, go all the way to exit 219, get off from that northbound, and get back on southbound, head south, and come all the way back to." But he was able to get off on 212, come across, get right back on 212, back up to me, hook me up, and get me up out of there. That was a blessing in that. I say that's a blessing in that. And the thing of it is, as I was driving, I'm going, and I was actually planning to get off. But the thing about it is, the way my vehicle was handling, I really don't even think I would have had the power to get up the hill. So I would have been stuck on the exit, on the off ramp. And I may have not been able to get the vehicle out of the street. But God put a barrier up. He gave me a situation where I can describe the lay of the land, and He put me in a safe zone, and I was able to get someone that could get me home. It was a situation where my wife didn't have to come and assist with me. It was a blessed situation, but it was very ironic. And in that, I'm gonna leave you with this because as I stated, 145 lay down road is Highway 145. And 145, when I typed that in to a Google search, I just kind of said, let's see what the significance of 145 and results came back. Psalms 145. And I'm gonna read that to you. I had to pull it up on the phone because I had a little bit more context that I was gonna express with it. Let me just do it this way. Psalms 145. Song of praise. David. And it reads, Great is the Lord. Song of praise of David. I will extol you, my God and King, and bless your name forever and ever. Every day I will bless you and praise your name forever and ever. Great is the Lord and greatly to be praised, and his greatness is unsearchable. Our generation shall commend your works to another and shall declare your mighty acts. On the glorious splendor of your majesty and on your wondrous works I will meditate. They shall speak of the might of your awesome deeds, and I will declare your greatness. They shall pour forth the fame of your abundant goodness and shall sing aloud of your righteousness. The Lord is gracious and merciful, slow to anger, and abounding in steadfast love. The Lord is good to all, and his mercy is over all that he has made. All your works shall give thanks to you, O Lord, and all your saints shall bless you. They shall speak of the glory of your kingdom and tell of your power, to make known to the children of man your mighty deeds and the glorious splendor of your kingdom. Your kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and your dominion endures throughout all generations. The Lord is faithful in all his words and kind in all his works. The Lord upholds all who are falling and raises up all who are bowed down. The eyes of all look to you, and you give them their good food in due season. You open your hand, you satisfy the desire of the every living thing. The Lord is righteous in all his ways and kind in all his works. The Lord is near to all who call on him. To all who call on him in truth, he fulfills the desires of those who fear him. He also hears their cry and saves them. I want to read that again. He fulfills the desires of those who fear him. He also hears their cry and saves them. The Lord preserves all who love him, but all the wicked he will destroy. My mouth will speak the praise of the Lord, and let all flesh bless his holy name forever and ever. May God have blessings upon the readers, seekers, speakers, and doers of his word. This just is a word that was put on me that I wanted to share with you. Ironic excellence. Thank you for your time. Be great. Be blessed.